It gives me much pleasure to be here this afternoon for a number of reasons. Of course, we've had the other speakers who've highlighted some of the key reasons and issues as to why it is important to have new buses on the roads. But let me highlight to you how this has actually happened today. Of course, apart from the entrepreneurial skills of the company directors and the business in itself, the Beni Marama government a few years ago reduced the duty on fully imported buses. That, as you know, since then has in fact led to the escalation of the importation of fully made buses. In fact, it's very interesting, as I was speaking at another forum earlier today, where sometimes, we need to look outside the box. The duty regime on imported buses used to be about 32%, plus excise duties on top of that, which in fact made it completely exorbitant for most bus operators, as you would know that most bus companies in Fiji are family-run buses. A lot of them in fact started post-World War II. I know some of them started by making money through the American soldiers who were posted in Fiji. They converted trucks to buses, and that's how they got into the bus business. And so many of them are actually families putting in their monies. But with the reduction in duty, what it meant was that it allowed bus companies to import very good quality buses from overseas. Yet at the same time, rather than losing revenue, FIRCA in fact increased its revenue because of the volume of importation of the buses. But it also at the same time did not necessarily affect the local producer of buses, because they are still in operation, PALL. They in fact are exporting buses from Fiji to countries like Nauru, Kiribati, etc. So it's a happy marriage of allowing importation, but also at the same time facilitating exports for our local companies too. It has, as has been highlighted by the LTA rep, that the quality of public transportation in Fiji has increased exponentially. Today we have most of the buses fully windowed, you have air conditioning, you have TVs, etc., or videos being run in these buses. So it does have a very important impact, not just in terms of the quality of transportation, but also the positive impact on things like the environment. Because when you bring in brand new buses, you are actually reducing the amount of pollution that goes out in the air. You are having a lot more fuel efficiency in terms of the burn rate of the fuel, of using fossil fuels. So therefore it has an impact on our foreign exchange or our importation bill. We import close to $1 billion worth of fuel every year. This is why the Beni Marama government in fact has been focusing on having the reduction of fossil fuel, focusing on renewable energy, where it's biomass, biofuels, etc. So overall, this policy has in fact led to a number of positive impact or positive effects throughout society at large. I think one of the other reasons why perhaps I agreed to come here, because I'm a firm believer that there are many companies in Fiji now who are absolutely right. They're at the right stage of perhaps being publicly listed. And I've said this to the Sunbeam family. As you know, the Prime Minister has recently announced that corporate tax rate on publicly listed companies now will be at a fantastic rate of 10% only. Only 10%. So by having such companies that are managed well, that have a very good asset base, rate of return on investment is quite good. They are in fact very good for listing as public companies. It will allow the company not necessarily to lose control over its management and operations, but it does allow the ability of others to participate as new shareholders, ordinary Fijians to participate in such businesses. So it is my public urge. Of course, we can't force you, but public urge to consider that, because I think many companies now, in particular family-run companies, need to think at the long-term prospects of running a business in a very dynamically growing economy. And I think at the moment, ladies and gentlemen, as has been highlighted by the Prime Minister in his budgetary address for 2014, and as has been authenticated by the Reserve Bank of Fiji and indeed various other multilateral agencies like World Bank and IMF, etc., the growth rate in Fiji is now projected to grow at 3.6%. And indeed, with that type of growth rate, and by having many of the reforms, whether it's roads, water, electricity, and that investment in capital, in infrastructure, and both in the private sector, we are on the cusp of moving Fiji to a completely new paradigm in terms of economic growth rate. And that will mean improved livelihoods and sustained livelihoods for all Fijians. So we need to, as citizens, as bus company operators, as workers, as employees, as employers, as government, and various governmental agencies, including LTA. I mean, it is very critical. If you look at countries like Singapore, and I've been saying this over the past couple of days, all of these countries have progressed because the regulatory framework is also very, very transparent. You cannot, for example, have a healthy public sector, public service transportation if you do not have a transparent process within LTA. You cannot, for example, have investment carried out in a confident manner if town and country planning, if Ministry of Lands, if Itauke Lands Trust Board, if Hotel Licensing Board, all of these different institutions that provide approvals, if they are not run in a transparent manner, if they are not focused on being professionals, if they are not focused on having a good turnaround time. We need to remove the politics of personalities and actually review and consider each application based on its merit. So we can get rid of things like judicial reviews, which I know some bus company operators are very good at. So I think, as I said, that we are on a particular stage in Fiji's history where we can take advantage of the enormous growth rates that have been projected. Finally, I'd also like to acknowledge the contribution by our allies, our friends, such as Indonesia, as they are highlighted by the Indonesian ambassador to Fiji, whose term unfortunately is coming to an end very soon. He leaves Fiji in the middle of December, and he has done a fantastic job representing not only his country, but indeed has become a very close friend of Fiji. And the bus, as you know, has been sourced from Indonesia. These are some of the new countries that in fact provide quality products and services. In Fiji for too long we've been focused on countries like Australia and New Zealand as sourcing products for ourselves, or UK. We need to get rid of some of these colonial legacies that we have. There are many other countries in the world that produce good quality goods and services, and we need to focus on that. As you know, China is doing that. We have Indonesia, we have Malaysia, and of course we have Brazil. And the Bainimarama government, for that very reason, has set up embassies in these countries. We now have embassies in South Africa, in Indonesia, in Korea, in Brazil, and UAE. These are new countries in which we have sent our representatives to be able to facilitate business, both for us as Fijians getting products and for our ability to send products to those countries. Indonesia, of course, we can learn a lot from them. As you know, the elections are around the corner. Indonesia has a voting population of 120 million voters, 6,000 islands. They have the elections in 5 hours. In 5 hours, 120 million people vote. And they start getting their results by night time. In Fiji, we have a voting population of 600,000, 110 islands are habited, and we used to have elections over 7 days. So obviously the Indonesians can do it, and we are learning from them. We've had discussions with them. We obviously can emulate some of their practices that they have adopted, and we'd like to thank the ambassador for his cooperation. Finally, I'd like to once again congratulate the Sunbeam family, the directors, for their confidence in the Fijian economy, for their confidence in the policies of the Bainimarama government, and of course for continuing to invest in Fiji. It is, no doubt, if you look around Fiji, There are many companies that used to do very well, but after the third or fourth generation of the family have got in, they have probably dwindled away. There has been inner fighting, etc. But this company, this business, this family has managed to keep that together and have that level of professionalism, and we wish them well in that, congratulate them for that, and I'm sure they'll look forward to many other years of success. I wish you all a very good afternoon. Thank you.